Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you are doing great. We're gonna talk about China. We're gonna talk about them taking over the world. And when I mean taking over the world, literally sucking all of the natural resources out of the ground for their infrastructure. That is right. To say that China is in their industrial revolution right now, regardless of what you see in the news about locking down and all that kind of crazy stuff, right? Because of them wanting to get on top of COVID, they are still a powerhouse when it comes to their economy and how big it's getting. The amount of raw materials they are needing, from copper to steel, concrete, to say the least, there is so much that they need to build their infrastructure, and there's only so much of it around the world. Now, China has been in the news a lot lately because the Wall Street and the world is anticipating their reopening, right? Getting back to normal and going out and crushing it and building more skyscrapers, doing all kinds of wild things, right? And so every time they start to, it's like, okay, we're gonna open. No, we're not. Okay, now we're gonna open. It's like the stock market is swinging up and down, up and down. And it's very important to understand why that is, okay? So let me throw out a couple bullet points here. Right now, we're gonna talk about copper because I think it is so vital. And if you aren't invested in that sector over the next 10 years, I think you're gonna miss out on an epic bull run. And the reason why I say that is because technology is moving so fast. And guys, I was here in Las Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show, and there were so many copper companies that were out there taking copper and building products, building pieces for circuit boards, electrical hardware. It is needed so much, it is insane, right? I mean, look behind me. What do you think, how much copper do you think is in that Ferris wheel? I mean, what it takes, not only for the lighting, but the motors and all kinds of parts in that, right? It is absolutely insane. Well, right now, copper shortfalls are expected to reach 50.5 million tons between now and 2030. The fact is, right now, you cannot make any electronic device without copper. The fact is, copper is absolutely vital and needed, but there's only so many copper resources out there right now. And with how long it takes to get permitting done and actually, getting it physically pulled out of the ground with machinery, it takes so long, you're starting to look at all the opportunities out there and what kind of money can I make investing in some of these companies? So that brings me to today's sponsor, Majuba Hill Copper. It's on the OTC boards under the ticker JUBAF. I'm going to get to them in a second, but I want to read a story, okay? And it is about China and their needs for copper. It says right here, copper price bounces on news about fresh investment in China. It says right here, the copper price rose on Thursday after news about fresh investment in China. Copper for delivery in March rose 2.4% on the COMEX market in New York, touching $8.83 a pound, or $8,426 per ton. Now, going on later here in the story, it says China's southern manufacturing hub of, now, you know the ninja and pronunciation. He doesn't read big words, but we're going to try in my best time. Ganzhou. That's the best I could do.
广州
Plans 1,722 projects in 2023 worth more than 6.5 trillion yuan, which equates to about $943 billion. And this is from their state media, which reported on Thursday. So later on in the story, it talks about global copper smelting and that it's dipping. It says global copper smelting activity dipped in December as smelters shut for maintenance after a year of sluggish activity. Data from satellite surveillance of metal processing plants showed on Thursday. China's oh man, here we go again. Woo! A-E-I-O-U. All right, here we go. China's Yunxi
Yanxi
plant began an annual maintenance program at the start of the month, while Codello's Chuquicamata smelter in Chile, oh, that was Chile. I just blame Chile. I blame Chile for a lot of problems. Like chilly night at the fire station. Remained closed according to a joint statement from commodities broker Matrix. Global smelting activity for 2022 fell to its lowest level in the 6-year history of data from Savant. Now, I want to explain that. That's a really good sign and news for copper investors. And the reason why is because we saw this slowdown in smelting, because we saw a slowdown of orders in 2021 and projects that were halted, right? So now we're in a position globally where things are waking up. So you had so much copper already smelted and ready for production. We had a global slowdown in activity from 2021 coming into 2022. There still was enough metal to support the ongoing projects or the ones that were just starting up. But now, like it says in this news story, there's over 1,700 projects planned for 2023 as China reopens. And I believe what you're about to see is akin to the supply chain breakdown that happened after the first global shutdown. And when the country and the world opened back up, everybody raced their stores to go buy things. They started building projects, and all of a sudden you found no lumber, no hardware, nothing out there because everybody raced to grab it. And I believe you are about to see that with copper smelting in mid 2023. So I'm not a financial advisor, but that's the way I start seeing these hurry rush, get projects done, shut down, and then all of a sudden you open back up again and it's a mad rush again. So this is what gets me excited about China. So now let's get to today's sponsor, Majuba Hill Copper. Majuba Hill Copper, one thing that I like about it is located in Nevada. I like that because Nevada is an extremely friendly jurisdiction for copper, and I think that's super, super important to be in America, pulling out metals in this country. It's also located approximately 120 miles from the Tesla Gigafactory. So, hey, I guess at that point, just sort of build a train track directly from the Majuba Hill to Elon Musk and just start getting the copper over there, because copper is so vitally needed in not only Tesla vehicles, but also in wind power and solar power and all that other stuff that, the green movement is trying to force you all into. You can't deny the facts that there are all these rebates out there for solar panels and all these new types of, driving in electric vehicles and getting electric chargers. So people are racing to go and get this stuff because they're trying to take advantage of the tax breaks and the incentives, the rebates and all that kind of stuff. And so that is putting a demand on the metal itself. Now, I pointed out earlier that there's going to be a deficit of copper, approximately, 50.5 million tons between now and 2023. But let me dive in a little bit more, and I'm going to need the actual phone today because there's not going to be enough cardboard in the world to read this. And I think this is very, very interesting. It says right here, as demand is rising for green tech such as electric vehicles, solar panels, and transmission cables, so is the need for the copper. Renewable energy plants require, on average, 8 to 12 times more copper than fossil-based forms of power generation. And electric vehicles need 3 to 4 times more copper than internal combustion engine vehicles. To me, to watch all of these people racing to the tax breaks, the incentives, all that stuff, is going to only put more demand on copper, all right? Right here, a couple things I want to talk about Majuba Hill. On a copper equivalent basis, the company says that there are 491 million tons, averaging about 0.16% copper equivalent, using a 0.06% cutoff. That comes to about 1.5 billion copper equivalent pounds in the ground at an average grade of 0.18% copper equivalent. Now it says right here, according to Hunsaker, that calculates to a national gross metal value of 5.1 billion. But because markets currently only attribute about 11 cents per pound of copper held in compliant resources to enterprise value, Majuba Hill NAV should sit around $162 million, compared with the $6.2 million as of December 22. Now, also, again, when I'm looking at a copper investment, I'm looking at where the price is now, but where we expect it to be based on future development. And that's why I wanted to tie in the copper China story, because they're waking up and they are the big one. They are the big daddy of consumables right now because their infrastructure is being built out at a rapid pace. You may not see it in America, but China has the ability to literally move the needle on any and all resources as they are gobbling them up as fast as they can. So guys, in closing, this is what I'd like to point out. This Ferris wheel, it's moving really slow, by the way. I don't know why that is. Maybe it needs more copper. It takes a ton of copper. The monorail behind me that goes back and forth, it takes a lot of copper. And then you got to look at this. Here, come with me.
This is high tech right here. High tech. Look at that.
Look at this right behind me. This big old ball. You just say, what's that big old ball, Ninja? That is an auditorium so that famous singers can come and sing. They've already invited me. I don't know if I'll be accepting their invitation, but I'll tell you what, this is my Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, if you don't have enough copper. That's my new song. But this is the amount of copper going into this. It's literally a concert arena is absolutely mind-boggling. This is not gonna stop. Copper is the way of the future. Copper is going to continually get used, and the demand for copper is only increasing day by day. Why? Because more and more inventions are coming out using electricity, and they can't do it without copper. All right, guys, I hope you had a great day. I want to thank again Mujaba Hill Copper for sponsoring this video. Go and check them out on the OTC, the ticker JUBAF. And with that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.